What's up, folks? How we doing? Let me see here. Let me get this all set up here. There, that's fixed. Now let's move this over here so I can see everybody who's been here. You guys got in here early, before I got here. Let's see who we got. Goodness gracious, Evan. Evan was in here at 4:24 Eastern Time. That would be 3:24 in his neck of the woods. Hey, James, good to see you. It would be that same time there for him too. So let's see who else we got here. Steven, all the way from Australia. How are you doing? That's great to see you here. All's well with James, Evan, everybody saying hi here. Phil is here from Wales, all the way from Wales. Great to see you, Phil. Wonderful to see you. Don's here from the United States of America, East Coast, right? Great to see you, Don. Awesome. Let's see here. Warren's here. How you doing, Warren? Great to see you. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We're going to be talking about a rhythm building system. I was thinking about this yesterday at a band practice, at a late evening band practice yesterday, and played a lot of rhythm guitar. Even though I did a lot of lead, there's a lot of rhythm guitar that goes along with playing lead too. You gotta get your rhythm guitar skills together. And one of the things I was thinking about was going back over everything we've talked about over the last probably 10 days. And how do we put all of those things together in a system where if you're learning a song or if you're going back to old songs and trying to fix things that you may not have done correctly over the years, what's a good way to do that there? So let me see here. I did an outline. You know what that means? We're in trouble. Right? So we're gonna start getting our bearings first. You know, what's the tempo of the song? What are the chords? All of those things. But now we're gonna start talking about, well, what type of strumming pattern is it? Is this an eighth note? Is this a 16th note strumming pattern? Is it triplets? Let me get us a new page here. I mean, what are we dealing with? What do we have to work with? That's what I always think about when there's a new song. What do I have to work with here? A lot of times I'll listen to the drummer and I'll listen to the hi-hat in particular because you'll hear whether it's a 8th note, 16th note, or triplet bass song right from that one little set of two cymbals that are sandwiched together there, right? So, well, let me see here. I have several ways I can share this over here. That's the one I'm going to do. Let's make it full screen here. Okay, so the very first thing we're going to do is figure out where's our 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Let's see. We'll see bass drum, snare, bass drum, snare. This is going to tell you where your measure starts and ends, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then starts over again. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're going to start picking our eighth notes, quarter notes, whatever the common rhythm is in the song. So I'm going to say this is going to be eighth notes. So we're going to have a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? So we're going to have 8 of these in the measure. They'll be all connected with this little guy right here. So at that point, let's just say we've got I've been playing in G a lot today. So let's just say we've got a 3 and let's do 1, 2, 3. So we're going to pick G for 4, D for 4, A minor for 4, and I know this is several different songs. I don't know what those songs are, but it's a 1, 5, 2 minor, 4 chord progression. okay? And we're going to play them as eighth notes. So that's going to sound like this. 1, 2, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4 and 1. Okay, so we got our eighth notes going here. How long do you think you could do that before you just couldn't take it anymore? I'd say probably about 2 times through, and then you're ready for something else, right? We need to start using this system to start changing things up. We found out what the tempo was. We found out where our measure is, the 1, 2, 3, and 4. We figured out what's the common rhythm that you're hearing in the song. We found that eighth notes was in this one. Then we figured our chord progression out over there. And then we said hello to Aaron. Hi, Aaron. How you doing, man? Where are you at? Where in the world are you at today? I think I know. And so now what we're going to be doing is we're going to start to make this a little bit easier. One of the things that we were doing before, we're going to go to the easy stuff, the low-hanging fruit. We're going to be going to the accents first. So here, let me share this again. I'm going to scroll down here. So now we're going to start accenting some notes. All right, so accent, that says accenting. It looks like Arctic. ACC. Boy, I can't, on the side of this pad is tough to write. So just bear with me. That's what that says. So what we have these eighth notes. Let me scroll back up a little bit there. And what we're going to do is we're going to start to pick a common accenting pattern that we're going to pull in and take out as we strum. Okay, so let's see here. Let's accent beats 1 and 3. So we're going to have put a little accent on beat 1 and a little accent on beat 3. So the first time, maybe I just play it 3 and 4 and here we go, accenting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So we've already added some really, really simple interest there. Then we're going to pick a second one. So this will be our first accenting pattern. Let's pick our second one. So let's see here. Is it 1 and 2 and 3 and 4? Okay, so now what we're going to do for our second accenting pattern is we're going to do the accent the and of 3 and the and of 4. So the first time I'm going to play it as number 1. The second time I'm going to play it as number 2. We're going to start to add some variety to what we're playing here. 1, 3, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3. So let me I need to move the camera. Okay, so here's our first one. We're going to accent 1 and 3. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now the second one we're going to play 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1, 2, 3 So by taking just those two accenting patterns, I turned just a very boring G chord that's lasting way too long. We need to talk to the songwriter about that. We need to send in a note there. We got some ideas. But if we have that G for a long time, something as easy as playing one of the beats louder than the other ones. Now that we have our standard beat, hey, you're in business now. Now you can mix and match. You could come up with other strumming patterns. You could improvise, adding accents as you go, listening to what the rest of the song is doing. Maybe the vocal will have something there that, you know, that hits on a certain beat. You can reflect that in your strumming. Listen to all the instruments. Maybe the bass player is doing something cool on the first couple beats and not on the last. So you could offset it. So the bass player might be going to, so everything kind of on the first half of the measure. So you could go, notice that 1, 2, ba, ba, ba. So I hit accents on the end of the measure, not at the beginning of the measure, because that's where the bass player was doing some cool stuff. See where we're going with this? It's lots of little mini decisions that you can make while you're strumming, while you're in mid-song, that can open the whole song up. And when you do little things like this, you can look around, see the other people that are playing. Hopefully they're not staring at their feet or their phone. That's usually what happens now, right? And maybe you'll get some eye contact there, like real people, and you'll come up. One person will do something, and you might change your playing to reflect that, and then they might get an idea, and they tell 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on. So let's see here. We've got that we did accents. Okay, so accents. One of the things that we can do now is we can start changing the actual rhythms themselves. Now remember, we did the rhythm grid the other day where we wrote out, okay, and I did a little bit of that right here with the 8th notes, right? So we might want to come up with some strumming patterns in that rhythm grid where we're leaving some notes out, or maybe we're doubling up. Maybe we'll do some 16th notes there. In fact, that's what I think I'm going to do. So let me head over to back to the desktop here, and I'm going to redo these. So we were doing 8th notes here. Each measure had 8 8th notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And so this was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. These were our beats that were strumming. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So I'm going to start experimenting with some different, let's see, Aaron says he's in Illinois today. Okay. I knew it. I thought I did. No, I didn't. I didn't know that. I don't know. Why are you over there? Ooh, goodness gracious. So what we're going to do is 1 and 2 and I'm going to leave out beat 3 right here. I'm going to do a big old rest right here. All right. So we'll go down, up, nothing, up, down, up. Let's see where that sounds like. So. So before I had accents, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2. Now I'm building a real strumming pattern. Right now, it's sounding like we've got extra thought into this, and that's really what it boils down to, right? Are you just phoning it in? Are you just strumming up here? Are you putting a little bit of yourself into it, right? So here's all 3 of the ones that we've done so far. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2. Just putting those 3 things together and take that across your chords, you're coming up with something that's pretty interesting that's just one chord. I started off with figuring out the tempo of the song. I figured out the chords. I figured out where the measures were. Is this eighth note strums? Is it 16th notes? Next we did accents. We threw some little strums that were louder than other strums. Now we put a rest in. We left some notes out. Now let's try one more thing by doing faster rhythms in there. So if I decided 1 and 2 and 3 and 2 and 3. What if I decided on beat 2 and beat 4 to do 16th notes? 2 E and 3 and then on beat 4 E and 4 E and So let's see here. 1 and 2 E and 3 and 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's put them all together. The first one we had is 1 and 2 and 3. The second one, 1 and 3 and 1 and 2. 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2. Now I'm doing these. Actually, in my having fun doing this, I changed the third one where we left the third beat out. I moved it to the end of 3 that time. If you didn't catch that, I was catching that as I did it. But notice what I'm doing is I'm taking rhythms. I got the basic one from the song, and then I'm experimenting with the things that I know. I can use 8th notes, 16th notes. I can use rests. I can use accents. All of these things are not difficult to do. They just take a decision. And the more you practice them, the more you'll be able to make those decisions whenever you want. How about that? Well, guess what, everybody? That's what I wanted to tell you today. Now, I just want to hang out for a little bit, see how everybody's doing. Hey, Aaron, what's going on? How's your guitar playing going? John's here. Hey, John, great to see you. Thanks for popping in, man. How's your guitar playing going? I want to hear. Let's see. Did we get a new one come in? No, we have not yet. People are typing furiously on their phone with their thumbs, trying to let me know what's going on. If you have any questions too, I'll be hanging out for just a little bit here. What I've been doing today is the little thing that I was playing earlier. I've created a new YouTube video, which is my 3 favorite chords to play. So you can check that out. That'll be out tomorrow morning. And it was an interesting one. I never really sat down to figure it out. I do have lots of chords that I like, but what are my 3 favorites here? 2 of them didn't have a third in them. So what does that say about me? I don't know. 2 didn't have a third in them. And then the other one had a minor third in there. So, those were the chords I was playing when we first got on earlier today. So, well, I'm not getting any questions, or no one's let me know about their guitar playing here. So I'll wait a few more minutes and see how you're doing. Don says, can you break down raking? Sure, I can break that down. So raking, I think would... So there's sweeping and there's raking. Sweeping has all the notes coming out clean. Raking is more of a percussive sound, right? So what I'm doing when I do raking is... what I'm doing when I'm raking is I have a note that I want you to hear. That is this B note up here on the 7th fret. That's the note I want to hear. But if I just play it normal, nice and clean, that may not be the way I want it to come across. I may want this note to have a little grit to it, have a little growl to it, right? And if you hear that, what I'm doing is I'm resting my palm on the strings and just going across the strings here. Not really fretting a chord. I'm just using this percussive sound of the pick on the strings. But where the technique of it comes in is on the last string, this is the note that I want to hear. So when I rake across the strings, I have to let up right at the last minute so that only that note comes out. It's like a growl into a note. It may even sound like you're clearing your throat, right? But it's another one of those things that we do to mimic the voice, and it all has to do with muting. And we're just playing notes that have there's nothing to them. But how you practice that is you pick a note. I would pick a note on the last string here, right? And let that ring afterwards. Put a little vibrato on it. Bend it. Anything you do is going to make it sound more expressive. Make sure you don't do it for every note, right? That would get old fast. That just got old in 2 seconds there, right? But where it sounds the best is to pick one note in a phrase where you rake the strings across and have that note come out. And then you're going to get something that really, you're going to take a regular old lick and elevate it there. So I hope that helped with that one. Thank you, Don. I'm glad I, let me hear you try it. Let me hear you try that stuff. I missed a bunch of things here. So Don said, can you break down raking? Scott Silverstone. Hey, Scott. Great to see you. Hey, and by the way, if there's other people here that are watching, I know there are because I can see the numbers, go ahead and say hi. Just hello. Just let me know that you're here. I can see the numbers of people, but unless you put a comment in, I can't see that you're here. So I would love to hear from you. Scott asked, how can I warm my hands? My fingers are so slow. And that's a good story. I went to University Arts for jazz guitar. That's where I went. And I had a great teacher who's not with us anymore, who was a musicianship teacher. And he was a classical pianist, and he played for lots and lots of people, played all the time. And he recommended something that worked for me. I always did warm-ups and all the things that everyone says. And, especially say you got to play outside and you were getting to that time of year over here in the United States, not in Australia. I understand, but we're getting to that time of year. And he said before he plays, he did two things every time before he plays. One was he had a little shot of brandy, I think is what he said. Right? So I'm not, hey, don't do that if that's not your thing, but the other thing is what I'm thinking of here for Scott. He says, and then go before you play and wash your hands in warm water. I know it's like, duh, right? Of course. No, that should work, right? Well, how many of us ever do that before we play, right? Give it a shot. When I'm especially if you're playing in a venue, you've been loading your equipment in, you've been driving to get there on time. Your hands are probably all clammy and sweaty because you're driving 10,000 miles an hour because you don't want to be late for the gig, You get everything, you set everything up, and you're about to play, and you're like, well, I feel like somebody who carries equipment right now. I don't know if I actually feel like somebody who plays guitar. So maybe you excuse yourself. You say, hey, I'm going to go ahead to the room, the lavatory. I'll be back in a minute. And just for maybe about, I don't know, like 2 minutes, just warm water. Just wash your hands. Just and try and play. And you tell me what happens. Okay. I've done it. Works very well. Little trick for you there. Phil says, hey Lee, before you went live, I was watching Chord Elevation chord symbols section and came across that altered chord we spoke about the other night. Yes. Yeah. In fact, I'm doing something today. I'll let you in on this one. I've one of my favorite chords, one of the three, is an A minor, or is a minor 11 chord. This. So here's the minor, regular minor. Here's the A minor 11. Cool, right? Basically, what I'm doing in this chord is I'm getting rid of the fifth of the chord. The fifth in a chord is the first one to go, right? That's the one you can get rid of. And I lowered it 2 frets, a whole tone. So then I'm having a root. Got my flat 7, my minor 3rd, and now my 11th or the 4th. You know, we talked about that the other day, how the 9s, 11s, and 13s work. Right? But this you can substitute any minor chord or minor 7th chord for this, and it instantly adds atmosphere to it. Now, when I was playing a lot of jazz, and one of the 2-5-1s is the thing that you practice for that, and one of the things that you can do with this is you can take the 2 low notes and drop them down a half step, and then that's going to lead you into your 1 chord, major 7th. Cool chord. Now a 2-5-1 is usually E dominant 7th in the key of A, and then A major 7th. But this would be B minor 11, and then this note here, when we lower these 2 down, this becomes B flat 7 with a flat 5, an altered 5th. Okay, altered deals with the 9ths and the 5ths, raising and lowering and making them a little different, right? So, and that's pretty cool because this note here on the top is an E. On the first chord, that E is the 11th. On the second chord, that E is the flat 5. On the third chord, that E is the 5th of your A major 7th. So you have a common note across all 3 of these chords. Now that middle chord, that's a tritone substitution. Anytime that you have a 5 chord that's dominant, you can substitute that for a dominant chord a flat 5 away. In this instance, that would be the B flat 7, right? Because it gives a nice downward line to go into the chord that you're trying to get to. So it goes, the bass note would go B, B flat, A, right? And with these chords, you've got a downward chromatic line, and you've got a note that's constant between all 3. It's very good voice leading there, which we've been talking a lot about in coaching this week. So there's a little bit about that. Thank you, Phil. And James says, when you play a blues shuffle, do we need to stay on the actual beat with chords, or can we change it up a bit? You can do anything. There are no rules. You can do anything you want. And who's to say what's better or what's worse? It's in the beholder, as they say. So let me go through this closer. When you play a blues shuffle, 1, a 2, a 3. So the shuffle is the rhythm. 1, a 2. That, bop, 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 right? Do we need to stay on the actual beat with chords, or can we change it up? Stevie Ray Vaughan would play whole songs with 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. Well, he wasn't even playing on the beat. He was playing on all the offbeats there with the chords. 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. He's playing every other note and not playing on the first one. So, yes, you definitely can do that. You sure can. Steven says, here in Adelaide, we have the Metallica concert tonight. I'm sure you're going. I would like to go. Maybe I'll head down there. What time are you leaving? Scott says, thanks so much. I'll try the warm water. Yeah, it's just an idea. It works for me. It always works. Dean's here, but he said business always gets in the way. No problem, man. No problem. No problem. And Phil says, that sounds nice. I think you were talking about the chords before. Okay. Well, it's time. It's that time. I'm going to go ahead and shut things down here. I'm going to be recording this week's audio podcast next, right after this. And remember that this week we're going to be tightening up the Chord Elevation Toolkit. I'm going to be finishing up the vault probably tomorrow morning, and then adding a bunch of new lesson style type things to the Chord Elevation Toolkit. This is going to be something that the people who got in early will be very glad they did. They got quite a deal for what they paid for it. And then now, if you were to take advantage of that before the end of, I think next week, it'll be next Friday will be the end of the launch. You'll be getting some good stuff there. A lot of rhythm, a lot of really important rhythm lessons are going to be packed into that as well too. Well, I'll see you everybody tomorrow. Phil before said that sounds nice. And then Steve says, yeah, he's going to Metallica. Awesome. I'd like to go. I'll see you there. And Phil says, see you guys tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow at 4:30. Already got it planned out on the calendar. 4:30. Thanks everybody. See you then. Bye-bye.